All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We are continuing the major market breakdown looking at the NASDAQ and QQQ. Look, clearly January was a beautiful month and all this thing was doing was riding over the 8 and breaking moving averages, right? We're definitely at a really important test as we're looking under the 8 and right on the border to the 20, right? So clearly some critical tests to talk about, but before we get into the details, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself, and then we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators when we're done up here, okay? So, hey, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. Nonetheless, I'm very, very glad that you're here, okay? And then if you disagree with anything I got to say, please throw it in the comments, all right? I am not all-knowing and perfect. I got no crystal ball here, all right? And I would much rather you let me know than watch my money go down the toilet in the market, right? So, two-way street here, okay? With that, look, let's get into the details. And obviously, I just said it, right? So I'm not going to repeat it too much, but good things really do happen over the 8 moving average, right? Whether it's a penny stock or it's a major NASDAQ index as we're looking at here, right? I mean, 8 and 20 are there's a reason why I just keep banging these drums, right? And where are we at right now? Look, we definitely hit this resistance line, okay? And I have had these two lines as the only lines since I actually started making these videos back in like June and July, okay? So there have been no other lines drawn for really significant reasons. And I mean, you see it right here, right? If this could have really broken the 1225 number, I mean, it would have been very, very next level trading. I'm telling you, you know what I mean? Clearly it hits it and has a rejection downward, right? I would have loved, and it kind of happened for one day, right? I would have loved it to hit the 8 and bounce up with a second attempt. That really would have been, even if it didn't break, I would have loved to wick this line one more time. When I say wick, I mean this little, not necessarily close over it, but like it's like ice, right? You just want to keep cracking at it, keep cracking at it, keep cracking at it. Eventually it'll break, right? And we only really got one test on it in this current one. Clearly this 8 bounce wasn't real because there was no confirmation, and then we start trading under. But look, I always say a doji means uncertainty, right? This day right here, people were just not sure if we were going to lose maybe even both of these, right? Let alone dropping it down here, right? Instead, we get a nice little run the first few days. We actually get a good break and good confirmation, right? But look, we could not get over this candle, right? I always say look at the last big green candle, right? And clearly that's what happened. Let's just start zooming in a little bit. So yeah, if we got over that on this confirmation, again, I think things would have been a little different and maybe we would have made a second run at this. But clearly we're under the 8. We are over the 20, and look, this is not quite a doji, right? There's no equal wick up or down, but yeah, some people definitely thought it was working its way down, but luckily it was able to come back up, right? But very few actually believed it was going to go over the 8, right? So just, you know, kind of looking at I'm not much of a candle trader, you should know that, but yeah, I'm always very fascinated by little skinny ones and then the really big ones, okay? So anything in between is just, you know, in between, right? What I don't like is this MACD right here, okay? Look how long the green has been well over the red. Look how, like, this is a good incline right here, right? That's a beautiful uptrend. We then start to go, like, literally as horizontal as it gets, and now I'm not sure if the MACD is going to start slipping down, right? So that's a little worrisome for sure. Look, it wasn't as hardcore, but the RSI goes from down here to up here, and we're definitely right in the middle again, right? So, you know, I will say in general, as long as we can stay over the purple line, as long as we stay over the 200 moving average, it's all good in my book, okay? I'm obviously I don't it's not good to go from 11.8 to 11.5, right? But if we come to right here and don't go under that, literally if we go like pennies above it but just stay above it, I am for real still okay, because this 200 should be a place where this thing bounces. We should not be talking about coming down to these two, okay? And then, hey, for all we know, in the next couple days, maybe it kind of goes horizontal, and this 50 is able to actually catch up to the 200 and then eventually cross it. That really, really would be best case. But I'm at least looking at never losing this 200. I'm looking at hitting the 200 and bouncing. And I for sure don't want to be talking about these lines unless, like I said, the 50 is able to golden cross and go over the 200. Okay, just the last general thing, that's not good volume right there, right? Definitely a couple good buys, but obviously a couple sells offset that, right? And end of the day, I'm seeing a couple more red candles than green candles for sure, right? So that offsets that, those three offset that, and I'm still left with three, right? So over the last 2.5 weeks, give or take, hasn't been looking good here, right? So, just something to keep in mind. So again, a lot of this is screaming coming down to 11.5. It really is, you know what I mean? But in my book, that's actually not horrible. Once this 200 gets lost, and when I say once, I actually don't think it's going to, knock on wood, I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I really want some more. I would use my stack right here. I would be using the one stack to get a little bit more reading. But based on what we're looking, this is bad and this is bad. So that makes me believe we're coming here. Neither is horrible enough to make me feel like we're losing it. I can at least say that much, right? But hey, and also look, for all I know, we might even be bouncing on this 20 right here. This was not a 20 bounce. Obviously, it was close enough to kind of say it, but this right here is literally the first time we touched the 20 since this monster run, right? So hopefully we literally bounce here and never even worry about this. If we lose it, which is kind of what it looks like, I'm expecting 11.5 and this 200 to do a lot of work. Real quick, I'm going to make another video shortly, but S&P 500, the SPX actually is under. These two look very similar. They made very similar runs. So the fact that this is under the 20 has me in a lot of ways just leaning towards NASDAQ. But same thing I'm going to say on that other video. Just stay over the 200 moving average. We'll call it a healthy cool down and things are all good, okay? Let's take a look at the weekly. Look at this thing, right? This 50 moving average is a monster test. It's been more than a year. We lost this thing in middle of June. Middle of January last year. Looks like on the earlier side too, right? And clearly we're deep into February, and we've only had one wick before this whole thing happened, right? So again, I really wish this ended a little better. I want to say we're over. Yeah, we're pretty much on 50% candle. And then are we over this? Man, we're still over the 50. We're at 787 and the 50's at 747, right? So roughly $40, we're still over it, right? So still over 50%, still over the line. By no means are these two good confirmations, but we've technically not seen bad confirmation yet, right? This obviously was a break. This was not. This is right back up, right? And then comparatively to this one, the last big green candle, we're still on the border of show me some more, right? One more time, 11.5 is pretty much, look at this thing. This thing's at 11.485, right? So I really see us coming down to here. Hopefully it just goes back up. And look, in the coming weeks, it seems like these two will probably catch up. So kind of like we were saying here, if this doesn't catch it, maybe we go just a little lower. This catches it, and hopefully we go back up. I'm still relatively bullish, even though I'm talking about things going down, roughly 10%, right? We're going to lose, no, not 10% at all. I'm really sorry. Because 10% is 1,000. We're I think even talking about less than 5%, right? So hopefully nothing too drastic happens to the indices. But yeah, 11.5 is just really screaming out again, right? Let's look at the monthly real quick. Hey, look, this isn't a bad monthly. Are we still over this? So look, this closed at 11.584. We're at 11.78, right? So we're roughly $200 up. I would love to we still have a couple weeks, right? But yeah, 11.58 is the top of this, right? So if we're going to come down to 11.5, we do want to come back up because that's a monster break of two. Obviously, I mean, I don't think we're going to get the good confirmation that we want. It looked like there were moments of it, right? But let's just stay over this, maybe make it a little bit more of a doji, and we say, hey, let's see what the next month looks like, right? But yeah, this thing wants to go to the higher side of 13, right? And if you watched my max, like I made a year prediction of NASDAQ, I actually thought NASDAQ would hit 13 at some point, so let's see. I mean, next month might be the interesting month because again, I don't see the next 2 weeks going monstrous, but hopefully it's enough of a doji to where that following month can maybe be a bigger. Because look, next month is going to be the close of Q1, right, in March, and then as we go into April, May, that's when the next earning rounds are going to come out, right? So hopefully we can get a nice little bump before Q1 earnings are released. I sincerely have no idea how those are going to go, right? But in my head, I'm just a little skeptical, and it would be cool to make a run and then pocket all that before earnings come. QQQ looks exactly the same. I love it. It is actually a little bit more over the 8. I'm sorry, over the 20, but this one's actually 2 days under the 8 for sure, right? That's why I got those two confused. Still that same ugly MACD. This one's actually a lot closer to the 0 number, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. But RSI is actually almost the exact same reading. And look, that same week and a half volume is exactly right here as well, right? These three offset that. These two offset, and you still have three candles there. Weekly looks exactly the same on this 50 and the same. Look, this line is almost 50% candle, right? So yeah, it's over the 50% candle. It's still over the 50. And I mean, this 8 is definitely coming up, right? So I mean, if it comes down, this bad boy should catch it for sure. And really, I would hope around that the 290 number, give or take, right? Sorry, I clicked weird. But hopefully the bottom of this guy or 50% of this guy, one of those two, hopefully we'll catch that if the 8 doesn't, right? Or before the 8. And then where's the monthly? Let's just make sure it looks the same. It does, right? So cool. I just want to make sure that they look the same. I'm not trying to repeat the same word. So, hey, I sincerely appreciate your time if you stayed all the way. I hope you're learning. And again, if you disagree with anything, let me know, okay? Have a great one.